It seems at the moment I'm spending a lot of time going back to how I started gaming. Recently I went through Star Wars Dark Forces, a remaster of a game that came out before one of my first games. The first Dark Forces, one of my first was the second. And now playing the other one of my first game. It occurred to me that I had Tomb Raider 1 through 3, courtesy of the Remastered. And Tomb Raider 1 was one of those first games. I think it might be, I'm not sure which one was the first, but it's one of those two. And now I can play it again, with better graphics too. Okay, yeah, I need to do this, I need to do it now. Starting where I should, with Croft Manor, because what is a classic Tomb Raider without spending some time there, even if it is quite limited in the first game, I will quickly explain that I'm not going to be going into a ton of detail about every level. Do you know why? They're long. With the unfinished business expansion, I went through 19 levels, the shortest being 40 minutes, the longest being 2 hours. So yeah, unless we want this video to be 2 hours, more of a brief summary, but I will talk about the more important things. Anyway, Croft Manor. My first look at the new graphics, and it looks good. I'm getting Legends, Underworld and Anniversary vibes from it, as they're the last of the classic style Tomb Raider games, so that makes sense. Also an option to switch back to the old graphics, which I always appreciate in games. Croft Manor is understandably just a tutorial, but it is still fun to see and also helps me get used to the tank controls again. There is a modern control option. I tried it, but honestly, tank controls feels right. We end our time with a swim and we're done here. This Croft Manor is a lot more limited. In the future games, it's a lot more to it. There's no outdoors here, there's no butler, there's no fridge to put the butler in, but it is still fun. Anyway, back to the main game. A quick cutscene tells us we've been hired to get an artifact from the unfound tomb of Qualopec, so it's off to Peru. After the gate is open, we see Lara being a badass, and now it's into the level. Being that this is the first level, it is understandably easy, simple jumps and such, and our first enemy are bats. It gets a lot more difficult with some wolves later and even a bear, but it's all pretty simple stuff we can handle. We don't really get any kind of serious puzzle until we reach the main doors, but even that just involves running around an upper area, killing a wolf and flipping a switch. That's the caves complete. Now, on to the city of Vilcabamba, which I really hope I'm saying right, but I'm probably not. And it's definitely more interesting than the caves. More wolves too. First swimming area too, which is nice. I am getting achievements and such. I'm not going for the 100%, but I'm getting what I can. But I won't bore you with achievements. You are not here for achievements. Finding the keys and idol wasn't too difficult, and I moved through to a temple. Besides some parkour fails, not much to report until I get through the main door and get bladed. Oh dear. Anyway, once we're through there, we find a hole for that idol, stick it in, that's level complete. Now we're on the Lost Valley, an iconic level. You'll see why in a bit. Parkour around these rapids is the first area that offers us any kind of a challenge, but we get where we need to go and we get the shotgun. First weapon unlocked. Also, after I find the wolves and kill them, I find the valley itself, with velociraptors. Oh yeah, and also a T-Rex. Iconic. I get turned into dinner a few times before finally killing him. The reason we're here, aside from secrets and all that jazz, is to get gears for that mechanism we saw earlier by the shotgun. Doing so allows us to pull the switch and drain the water, which gives us access to some nice things, but more importantly, the end of the level. Now, we are finally in the Tomb of Qualopec. Also, side note while I'm here, it looks fantastic. The new textures and lighting really do look great. As for the level, the puzzles are more difficult. We have blocks to pull out, more enemies, but ultimately our goal is to find levers to open the door blocking the tomb. Once it's open, I head through, get some secrets, say hello to the spikes, head into the tomb, and I guess that's Qualopec. More importantly, this is the Scion that we've been hired to get, so we grab it, head out the collapsing building and out the tomb entirely, and find Larson, who is shooting at me, the bastard. Is he much of a match for a shotgun? Not really, but apparently, despite being shotgunned a bunch of times, he's still alive. That man is such a stereotype, but we beat him and we get a clue for the next location. Now, all we have to do is break into Natla's offices to find out where to go, but thankfully that is just a cutscene. We are in Peru no longer, we are in Greece and we immediately get attacked by lions. Bit different from when I've been to Greece in real life, but I also didn't know they had gorillas, but they're here too. Once the first puzzle is done, Pierre attacks us. This will become a running theme, him attacking us and then legging it. Once we flee, we do some parkour, we do some swimming, we kill a gator, we head into the middle area. Oh, I remember this, and not for good reasons. We spend a lot of time here, I won't bore you with every detail. We have 4 keys we have to unlock to get in. First, the Neptune room. which will surprise no one to say it's underwater. Flipping a switch gets us a key. All done. Next one is the Atlas room, and I guess he dropped the world onto our back. His key wasn't hard though. 4's room is electrifying, to say the least, but with some effort, we managed to hammer it out and get the 3rd key. The final room is Damocles, which is an interesting one to me as someone who's played Rise Son of Rome. Key is easy to get, but the way back involves falling swords, which is less than ideal. When we're done, we have Lion to deal with, and also a cowardly Pierre. Once they're all done, we put the keys in the hole, and that's the frustrating level complete. Now we move on to the Colosseum, which sounds fun, and yeah, it's a better level. Getting into it takes a lot of steps, as expected, but it's cool to see. And yes, that's Pierre again. After killing the lions, I guess must have been there to eat the Christians. That's a history joke before anyone gets mad. We have a timer puzzle which we need to proceed, and it's difficult. I mean, look how close I was when I actually got it. I eventually get to the Emperor's box, and I guess the Emperor is a gorilla. We do some more work, we shoot at the French, and eventually open the door and swim through to the next level. Specifically to Midas's palace. We have 4 levers we have to pull in various orders, each one opening a different door, and we need to get lead bars beyond. It may be obvious what the lead is for, but I'll wait until then in case it isn't. For now, through the first door and jump over some fire, there's the lead bar. Second door, parkour and spikes, what could go wrong? Oh, that. Still, eventually got the bar. Third one takes us on a hell of a wild goose chase, but we eventually get it on the roof of a temple. Then we take it to part of the Midas statue, although still enough of one to turn us into gold. And then we turn the bars into gold. Then we put those into the water, head on through, and Midas's palace is complete. Onto the system, which sounds watery, and I was right. Lots of traversing and jumping and climbing, and a Pierre just to make it more annoying. I wasn't the biggest fan of the level. Still, Magnums are fun, especially using them on Vanishing Pierre. Thankfully, the level didn't really cause me any problems. Wasn't particularly hard, just wasn't for me. The next one though, the Tomb of Tehokan, is more like it. At first it does show a little cistern, which wasn't so great because I wasn't the biggest fan of the level, but it gets better and we eventually swim to the tomb itself. We also get our first really unique enemy, a fleshy centaur. Game calls him a boss, but he really isn't. He also gets promptly arse kicked. Head inside, and guess what? Pierre again. Once more, I magnum him, and this time, on account of him being full of holes, he's not going anywhere. We are, though, because courtesy of some conveniently placed Egyptian hieroglyphs, Lara knows to go to Egypt, and putting the 2 pieces of the skion we found together hints at something. What is unclear, but we know where to go, so off to Egypt. We are at the city of Kharmoon now. This area looks really cool. New enemies too. Panthers are not quite as cool. I mean, they are, but I don't like them eating me. But come on, this level is awesome. As before, we have 4 artifacts to help us advance. I never realised how repetitive the levels were as a kid. I also don't think I realised it until writing this script. Working our way through a lot of the enemies, but I am enjoying where we are. I'm not fussed by them. We also have mummies to fight now that are genuinely quite difficult. I need the better guns for those. Pistols won't cut it. Interestingly, for the level, we don't find the artifacts. We actually find them in a future level and go back, which is now where we are. The obelisk of Kharmoon. The 4 artifacts we need will be in an obelisk. Of course, it won't be a simple case of grabbing them though. Even getting to it takes a bit and is filled with panthers and cat zombies. Still, we eventually get the first artifact and can see the other 3, we just have to get to them. After some more parkouring, traversing and the murder of undead cats, we get the second and jump around to the 3rd. The 4th is some more work, we do get it before heading back to the previous level, which would have been seen as quite a novel idea back then, and still kind of is now, to insert the 4 artifacts into another obelisk, and that's the level done. The final Egypt level now is the Sanctuary of the Skion. Someone seems to have taken the cat mummy's clothes, which is really inconvenient for them. They're also more difficult now. Anyway, we have another Sphinx, but the parkour is nothing new. Flying skinned enemies though, that's new. Also, floating Uzis in the sky is pretty new, but hey, last weapon to collect in the game. Not going to argue about it. Wouldn't mind less skinned centaurs though. Anyway, we've been collecting golden ankhs throughout, which we used to open this door up. Heading on through, we have a lot of swimming to do, followed by a very dangerous jump, which this game was kind enough to help me down with a glitch. We eventually get to where we're going, and that's Larson again. And now he's dead. We let him live once, but twice is just too much to ask. More importantly though, final piece of skill. Bad news, random generic thugs are here, as is Natla. They attempt to kill us, but we get away even if it's without the skion or the weapons. With a quick jump though, nice and easy to get onto their boat, which takes out all the guesswork of knowing where to go. So where are we? Well, the answer is Natla's Mines, but of course, where we really are is what's been hinted at a while, Atlantis. This is just Natla's way of getting through to it. We start with lots of jumping and flicking switches, which is good because we have no guns. I eventually find a floating office which has the pistols, but we need fuses to get them. Getting those is mostly easy, but we have to be careful because photo mode reveals a hidden cowboy waiting for us. Seriously, his name is just Cowboy. Anyway, time to get into that office, and now we are armed again. So we can go kill a cowboy. I'll give him credit, he was good, though of course dropping into lava doesn't help me. Soon enough, he's dead, and he had magnums. Mine now. Next up is some traversing around lava, which felt very safe, followed by a fight with a skater. I expected him to be hard, but he didn't even hit me until the end. I'll take the Uzi though, along with a shotgun I found and forgot to mention earlier, meaning we have all the weapons. Now we head to the pyramid, where we fight Bald Man. Yeah, that's his name. These were improved for parkour, for anniversary. At least they had names there. The Bald Man is now dead, and with a little more parkour, we open the door and head into Atlantis itself, where we're greeted with a modern cutscene of Natla using the Skion to activate something. We head in, there's giant pods that hatch difficult enemies. Yeah, this is the Atlantis I remember, along with a lava pit that is basically an area where we're slowly climbing up. Our goal is the very top. The other thing I remember is this being hard, and child me, that would have been 4 or 5 when this game came out, needed help. I still feel like I need help, but unfortunately, as I am now an adult, that is not the option it used to be, so we muddled through. Difficult enemies jumping around slopes, a lot of lava for me to burn myself alive in, but we persisted and we got there. To the top, further still to the creepy throne room, and then beyond through a timed door into the Skion room. Grabbing that reveals the secrets of Natla, that she was an Atlantean imprisoned by Qualopec and Tihocan for her crime against Atlantis. Certainly explained a lot. Natla has her justifications, not enough to convince Lara, but as we try to shoot the Skion, she stops us, leaving us alive and plunging herself into the lava. That went well. Bad news though, it was enough of a delay that her new superior evolution was hatched. If she thinks this is some kind of superior evolution to humans, she clearly hasn't looked at it. It also wasn't even a difficult boss to defeat, so I don't see the point, but she's too crispy now for us to care. Now we need to get back to the Skion, which of course can't be easy, but it didn't take too long. Once we're there, let's destroy this thing and start collapsing the pyramid around us. Escaping? Well, it's difficult. Final level, of course, is difficult, but nothing we can't handle. The only thing that's surprised is Natla's back. We do kill her, of course, and I was even tempted to try and do a trophy pose picture, but turned out not dead. She was glitched though and couldn't move, so it made finishing her off quite easy. Now she's dead. Probably, if you ignore Underworld. But that's beside the point for today. For today we're heading out the pyramid, and that is the game done. It goes boom, we're safe, all good, game's finished. Credits and everything, even some final statistics. Now, I'm not actually done, because there is also the unfinished business expansion. I was very insistent on playing this, because I didn't own it as a kid, but it wasn't that great, and yeah, it was very difficult with no real story to it, so it felt a bit purposeless. Half of it is an expansion of our escape of Atlantis, which is what you're seeing now, and the other half was a return to Egypt to explore new areas we couldn't see last time. I enjoyed Egypt more. Both of them felt like an unnecessary stretching out of a game that was already the right length. Still, never got to finish it when I was a kid, so I made sure I got that done today. See, I even got to the end of the cap, which is where we are now. So, one of the first games I ever played got a loving remaster, so the question is, after having played so many games since, do I still love it? Yes, I do. People enjoy these games for a reason, and there is a reason so many old school fans still clamour for the return of the old games, and this was a fun trip down memory lane. It's also got options for modern controls, and with the graphical improvements, it's a good way for new fans to play the original game. I can honestly say that I absolutely loved it, and I could not recommend it strongly enough. You should play this. Now, there are 2 other games in this bundle, neither of which I've ever finished, and 4 to 6 rather, have also been released in the bundle. So it's safe to say we're far from done with Tomb Raider on this channel. But we are done for now, and we will move on, because I have a Minecraft video and map update to release.